there's nothing like the prospect of a storm to get the mind focused on drying flowers. So I'm Fierce Blooms, and I'm going to tell you all about drying this amazing curry plant. Fear not, it doesn't dry this bright yellow, it dries a beautiful mustard yellow. And that's the thing about drying flowers, they're not the colour often when you pick them for drying. So there's three really important things with drying flowers. One of them is the variety that you choose. The other is the stage at which you cut, and I would say that's probably the most critical thing. And then the final thing is why you fail for drying. A lot of people say they destroy the crop, or they have loads of problems. So I'm going to share with you how I avoid that. So you can see me here cutting. It's first thing in the morning. We're going to expect some rain, and you don't want to cut in the rain ideally, because all of the flower heads get wet, and the very idea is that you're trying to dry them. But you do need to condition them. So it might seem counterintuitive. You might just think, oh, I want to dry them, so I'll just cut them like this and I won't bother to condition them. But a stem for drying has to be the most perfect thing. And in my experience, conditioning them properly in the dark for 24 hours, I cut them in the morning in the cool, that gives you the most perfect stem to then turn upside down and let gravity do its work. So when I'm cutting, I try to avoid the wildlife. So you can see here, we've had an amazing year for ladybirds, and I don't want to take her in, she's just flown off, I think. But be careful when you're cutting this time of year. There's lots of wasps and things around. We had to destroy a few nests because when you're a flower grower, it can be a bit of an occupational hazard. You will see that I have a little glove on. So what you really want when you're cutting is to identify a stiff stem with lots of things. That kind of gives you a clue that the stem is ready for cutting. And I can still see Mrs. Ladybird here just hanging on in there. So when you have got your flowers conditioned, be sure to put some elastic bands around them, not just string, because they'll fall to the floor. And then if you're looking at things like this, they're a little bit too early to cut. And can you see how that stem is a bit soft? So that's not going to cut that well. It will eventually dry, but it won't dry as well as these mature stems at their absolute peak. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this chat about how to optimally dry curry plant. It does retain a little bit of its scent, which I rather love. If you haven't got some tips and tricks and enjoyed this video, then I'd be delighted if you consider subscribing to my channel, Fierce Blooms, and if you want to say hello in the comments, please feel free to. Thanks so much for listening.